Hello there. Everyone always talks about the USA in the 40s as saving the world with lend-lease, steel, and superior technology. But is that really true? Does American factory power really trump Soviet manpower and blood, and British air and naval supremacy, and tea? And what does Paradox think about the USA? What kind of presets have they given them for all of their equipment? Well, I want to test all of that right here, right now, by playing the USA completely historically in HOI, which means not only using the historical presets that have been given to the USA, but also using only totally historical divisional designs based on way too much research. This video, however, will be a bit different from my others because I personally think the USA is too strong, so I want to make it harder. I will be max buffing Germany and Japan, as well as half buffing Italy, because Italy, giving them all these buffs to ensure that the Axis stand a chance. For more obscene challenges with an historical leaning, why not subscribe? And if you want, you can support the channel through YouTube memberships or on Patreon, with all links below. Okay, the USA in 1936. We won't be joining until the 40s, so we have a long time to prepare, but we've got a lot of problems. We also have the fun minigame of Congress and having to balance out the number of seats to be able to actually go through our focus tree. The focus tree itself is actually really cool with multiple paths that are all really fun. We will of course be going historical, which means totally democratic. And there is a very fun kind of exploity path you can do where you sort of temporarily go communist to get all the bonuses there and then immediately switch back to democratic. And while that is obscenely strong, we will not be doing that today because it goes against the spirit of the challenge, I think. Sorry, Earl Bruder. So before we do anything else, we are going to be clicking medium lobbying effort and kind of keeping it up for a long time because I need to go down a really specific focus tree path to be able to actually do anything. Then we're just going to work down the New Deal and towards WPA. Something slightly unorthodox I'm going to be doing is not building any factories for a while. Thanks to undisturbed isolation, it takes way too long to build any kind of factory. So instead, I'm just going to build infrastructure in pretty much all of my states. It improves construction speed, but mainly it gives me more resources, which is really what I'm after. I'm going to need a ton throughout the game. I'm also envisioning basically needing endless M1 Garand, so I'm just going to build that for forever. Looking at the USA's starting divisional templates, they're surprisingly historical, but also kind of wrong. We'll get more into the research a little bit later, but currently these are two different designs from different time periods, and the National Guard division is actually what the entire US Army was, called a square division, but it changed later, so we'll come back to this. However, the biggest thing I'm happy about is finally being able to make true Marine divisions. It was really only the US that had proper Marine divisions throughout the course of the war, and now I can actually make them. It's brilliant. Our first little bit of PP immediately get taffed. I need more PP. Also, just having a look at our starting navy, holy crap, it's huge. Look at that, group them all into one big fleet, 15 battleships and all these carriers, and I'm only going to build more. This is obscene. Also, we finally got a little bit of the Great Depression improved. Next is Neutrality Act, and a whole lot more of waiting. We finally have the 1936 heavy ship hull, and I can't make it. Apparently, I don't have the battery. This is really weird because this is basically the North Carolina class battleship, so I don't know why it won't let me make it. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I got it. Here we go. Okay, it's because the North Carolina class technically had 16-inch Mark 6 guns, which is, for some reason, the 1940 gun tech. So I can't make the 1936 battleship until I have 1940 tech. Okay, we're also going to start building the 1936 destroyers rather than these weird early destroyer hulls. Not sure why we're building them. And they're pretty good, so let's go. We'll even name it and call it the Jared Destroyer after a lovely patron. I'm also not going to assign any officer corps because I need to save up all my command power for something fun a little later. You know, the Congress minigame isn't all bad. You get these little events where if you build like a factory, you get a whole bunch of support. Hey, I was going to build factories eventually. You got it, Senator from North Carolina. Alright, here is the key for the whole strategy. Our next focus needs to be Selective Training Act. This just because it sets our base war support to 10 if it's already less than 10. But the moment our war support goes above 10, we don't get that base support anymore. This is vital for being able to leave undisturbed isolation, so we need to time the selection of this focus with also an attaché to China. This is why I've been doing medium lobbying efforts the entire time. And I'm also doing farm subsidies, and we're going to do special measures, which just gets us over the threshold, finally allowing me to click this focus. This is absolutely massive because it means I can go down towards giant wakes and basically turn on the US economy a little bit earlier than you might expect. And look how committed I am. I'm actually going to wait 20 days to be able to select Fair Labor Standards Act. That's right, I'm gonna waste days of a focus in order to keep to my established focus order. Oh, but the best thing, the Japan-China war has begun. This is obviously not good because Japan will destroy China because I max buff them, but it does mean that I will be able to send an attaché, which will bump up my war support. Then we get giant wakes, putting us to civilian economy, allowing me to go to partial Mobi super early and absolutely exploding in industry. Straight to partial Mobi, and look how many factories we have now. Oh my god. I did start building at least some cities because I ran out of infrastructure spots, but now it's all mills all the time, baby. Oh my god. We also do want to be getting as many dockyards as possible, but I'm waiting until we get Maritime Commission, which gives 10% dockyard construction speed. I'm trying to be super hyper efficient here because I'm really scared about the max buffed Germany and Japan. God damn, though, I cannot get over it. Look at the number of construction slots we got. We're gonna explode. We also have our very first plane design, the early strategic bomber, and it's the B-17 Flying Fortress. Pretty standard, but it's got all these turrets, which is very cool. I'm starting to get extremely concerned about China. They are not coping well against Japan. Yeah, I'm concerned about air production. I think I need to start building fighters now. Interestingly, the fighters we actually start with, the P-35A, are surprisingly good. They've got like different machine guns. They're pretty alright. Some of them are a bit weird though. The A-17 CAS has machine guns, making it a multi-purpose. Not sure about that one. But weirdly, when I actually go to the airframe to try and use the presets, though I can make a slightly different CAS, I can't make the Warhawk. I don't have the guns, it seems. So that's weird. Oh, and God, I always forget about this. I'm playing a major naval power. I've got tons of carriers. I need to be building the carrier airplanes really quickly. Oh, God, there's so many. I gotta have fighters and CAS and naval bombers. It's also finally time to get the first medium tank. It's the M3 Lee. For some reason, the M3 Lee has a fixed superstructure. What? It's got sloped armor and a cannon. It's not too bad, but why does it have a fixed superstructure? I've also finally got all 6 of my research slots through the focus tree. And good thing I do, because there are so many naval techs that I need to research if I want to have a chance at beating the Japanese Navy. Oh god, apparently I'm building too many capital ships. The UK has issued a stern warning. I've decided to ignore it, and nothing happened, so okay. Good job policing the world, UK. For most people, 1939 means the beginning of the European kerfuffle. For me, it means that I can build new factories thanks to the new industry tax. Look at that. Oh, I'm running out of space. All right, here it comes, the big fight. Let's see what Germany does. Oh, and also, thankfully, naval treaty abrogated, so any possible consequences of building too many capital ships is gone. Oh, God. I hadn't really paid attention, but look at China. Oh, no. Buff Japan is too strong. I can at least start to send some lend-lease to China, if nothing else. Come on, boy, you can do it. Just hold out. In fact, let's do that for the Brits as well. Let's just send basically every Garand and support equipment we have. Like, we need to just send them so much gear. There's no point giving it to the French because it'll just go straight to Germany, but the British can use it. Oh, it's been a really long time since I actually played the USA, especially democratically. There's a bunch of unique little things I can do to help boost war support in Britain. That's so cool. We also have the improved light chassis. Probably should have built this quite a while ago, but it's the M3 Stuart, and it's a great tank. I like this one, and thankfully it's not a fake superstructure. It's good. I'm going to build a ton of these, just like real US did. Oh god, just while I was sorting out the lend-lease to Britain, France has capitulated. It is only November, and Germany has already dominated Europe. That is upsetting. Oh, that's weird. I can actually join the Allies right now if I want to. Britain will just let me in. That's honestly kind of broken, but I'm not going to do it. That would go against the spirit of the challenge. I'm not going to join the Allies unless, like, the UK were to start falling or something. Speaking of ahistoricity, oh god, no, China, how could this happen? Though maybe it's not going to be too bad. Britain is invading in Albania. True, they're getting encircled and destroyed, but they're trying, okay? They're putting my equipment to use. In the meantime, we're just going to be grinding out our 1940 designs, like the 1940 heavy ship hull. It is surprisingly good. Oh, and also I researched the basic heavy tank chassis, but I'm not going to build any of these because these were never actually built, so screw you. But the moment I've been waiting for so long, the improved medium chassis. Look at that, it's the Sherman, baby, let's go. Cast armor, a gun, sloped armor, it's beautiful, and no fixed superstructure. This is a good tank, not a great tank, but it's a good tank, and it's cheap to produce. I'm gonna make thousands of them. Let's go. Also finally have the tech for the 40 fighters, the Air Cobra, baby, look at that. Machine guns, and also range extenders. Probably gonna need that, because I'm gonna be fighting in a lot of different air zones. We also finally have mechs, which means I can now make the tank division. This is going to be brilliant. The 1940 tank division is kinda weird. It's listed as having all of these different regiments, both light and medium, but the thing is, in terms of size, they are actually closer to just regular battalions. So to try and make it as close as possible to historical equipment numbers, this is what I think the 1940 tank division is like. 3 lights, 3 mechs, 2 mediums, and a motorized artillery, because no SPGs yet. The only iffy thing is the number of mech battalions. There is actually only 2 in my diagrams, but the thing is, when I count the amount of half-tracks in the division, it's far more than just 2 battalions, so I've added an extra one to make up that deficiency. Plus the extra org is nice. What? Oh my god. No. London has fallen. Okay, yeah, you remember earlier when I said I wouldn't join the Allies unless something like this were to happen? Well, it happened. I'm joining the Allies. I cannot have the UK capitulate. That would be absolutely tragic. I'm joining the Allies now. I don't care it's a year early. This is, oh my god, a successful sea line. This is terrible. Let's get every damn plane we have training and send them over to the UK to try to, I don't know, help somehow. And we're definitely going to need to send at least some of our armies that we've been recruiting over there as well. I am scared. I've also now finally split my fleets up into little sections. We've got a lovely Atlantic and Pacific fleet with a main strike force, some patrols, and convoy escort. Another convoy escort group, and a whole bunch of submarines for both Japan and Germany. My army is now in Britain, but I haven't done any attacks because I've been waiting for the 1st of January 1941. Because I have only been able to find information about the infantry division for the US Army from 1941. Before that, it's just the, National Guards, which doesn't seem right. So I've waited till now to attack because I can now redo the divisions. Based on my research and literally counting the amount of artillery in a division, it's going to be basically a 9-1 because there were 48 pieces of artillery. That also includes some support artillery as well, and a bit of support anti-tank. It gains more anti-tank later on in the war as more bazookas get added, and also maybe an actual tank battalion, but we'll see. So now we'll wait a few days for everyone here to reallocate and re-equip, and then we can push the Germans out of Britain. Because they've really not committed that much. They took London and then just didn't put more troops here. I don't really know what's going on. And Britain barely put any troops to defend either. It's kind of like they all just decided, Algiers will take care of it, no worries. All right, there we go, we've kicked them out, and now it's just time for a reinforced Battle of Britain and try to overwhelm the German industrial capacity by shooting down all of their planes. Oh my god, there's like 1,000 here. We are shooting a lot of Bf-109s down, but they are also killing us, so, oh boy. Since we're finally starting to win the air war, let's get the large strat bomber for 1940, the B-24 Liberator. Look at all the things it has. It is packed filled with turrets. Look at it, it's a beast. It's also obscenely expensive, but I'm going to make these by the bucket load because I want to bomb Germany to oblivion. Okay, the Allies are going hard right now. There are naval invasions into Sardinia that are happening without my support whatsoever. That's amazing. And look, the Italian Africa Corps is getting absolutely BTFO'd. We're doing okay. Ooh, that is a little sooner than I was expecting. Japan is about to start something. Okay, it's okay. I got my navy ready. Hitting 41 again, which means even more factories in the US. I was forced to build in the Philippines because I literally ran out of slots in the States, but it's fine. We're okay. All right, here comes Japan. Remember, this is a Japan with all of China owned, so they're going to be very strong. Naval battles are kicking off straight away as well, but they're going okay. I am super scared for India, though, because there are limited forces on the Chinese border, and when Siam joins, they're just going to get overwhelmed. I think I'll send one of my Pacific armies to help reinforce them, and hopefully that should be enough to stop the Japanese hordes. And of course, now for the big boy stuff, Germany has attacked the Soviet Union. This will be the test. Just how strong is a max-buffed Germany gonna be? I'm not leaving anything up to chance though, so I'm gonna send the Soviet Union everything I can manage. Guns and artillery and support equipment, just everything. But the main thing is gonna be guns. I have tens of thousands of spare Garands just lying around. I'm gonna give them literally all of them. Ooh, and the beginning of Barbarossa means that there are no fighters over Britain anymore, so time to move over my medium bombers and strat bombers and start blowing up Germany. I can't get a ton of range, but if I prioritize civilian and military industry, it'll at least do something. Oh boy, we also have a huge Japanese invasion into the Philippines, so we need to deal with that right now. And the German-Soviet front isn't too bad, though St. Petersburg has been taken by Finland. which implies that the Soviets are struggling on the actual front. Okay, this is actually hell. I'm having to juggle both the Pacific and also the German-Soviet front to try and provide lend-lease. I've lost more units in the Philippines and lost about a dozen divisions to encirclement. I have to fight now with no supply. I guess I'll build a naval base and hope that I can get supply there before they completely destroy me. Oh, it happened in the North Island as well. It happened again. I just lost a dozen divisions for no reason. I wasn't keeping track of it. Oh my god, there's so much to think about. And it looks like my fleet is repairing, which is why so many invasions have happened on my watch, and I've lost a lot of my screens. I need to build way more destroyers. It's also 1942 now, so I think it's finally time to get some Marines. Yes, I've been looking forward to this so much. I wasn't able to find any evidence of the equipment or organization of a Marine division prior to 42, so that's why I'm doing it now. It looks to be a pretty standard Marine division. It's a basically 9-1. However, it has a surprising number of light tanks. Within the special troop section, it actually has a light tank battalion as well as an armored tractor battalion. And looking up the actual numbers for what that means, I think it's okay to add a light tank battalion to this division. Basically making them kind of space marines, which is pretty cool because they're actually marines. On the naval front, we are starting to whittle down the Japanese Navy. We've sunk one of their carriers. I'm losing some stuff too, but it's going okay. We also need to think about making a light SPG gun because that's going to be very important very shortly. So that's going to be the M8 HMC. It's honestly pretty bad, but hey, it has soft attack. I just wish my Pacific fleet wasn't completely eating sand. They're just getting caught by the Japanese a ton. I think it's time to move over the Atlantic fleet, split off like half of them. The German Navy isn't really a concern anymore, and I think I need to worry about Japan. Oh yeah, we caught the main German fleet. There it goes. Okay, they're no longer a concern. Also, it's now March 1942, which means it's time for some new armored divisions. I have only found research to specifically the 1st of March, so let's go. I've had to count out the exact number of each bit of equipment, but as far as I can tell, 108-ish light tanks, 216 mediums, and like 60 to 80 mechs, as well as some light SPGs. So this is what I would say the new division is like. I have been a little bit cheeky here and added in a motorized infantry battalion when that didn't exist, and the only reason is because there are just way too few trucks in this division if I don't add that. And there were a lot of trucks in this bad boy. Plus, this brings the manpower up to the requisite roughly 10,000 that the armored division would have actually been, so I think this works, and it also gives me more org. Let me know in the comments if you think that's cringe, but hey, I'm just trying to be historically accurate here. Oh no, it's all falling apart. The fall of Baku, and then swiftly afterwards, the fall of Moscow. Alright, I'm getting real concerned here. If the Soviet Union collapsed too soon, we're not going to be able to do anything. I think we have to start preparing for a genuinely early D-Day. Oh, what? The fall of Rome? Oh my god, Britain has actually invaded Rome and taken it? This is incredible. I actually kept 24 divisions in Sardinia as a sort of reserve force for just this occasion. Let's go. Yes, we have landed in Italy, and there's basically no Italians here. I guess because they're fighting on the Eastern Front. Let's just see if we can capitulate them really fast. And again, the European front has distracted me for the Pacific front. The Japanese have basically taken the Dutch East Indies, and I am not helping at all. Don't matter though, within like a couple months, we've deposed Mussolini. This is fantastic. I'm just snaking everywhere. Plus, we now have the landing craft technology, which means it's time to think about a genuine invasion into Normandy. Honestly, that is a very weak Atlantic wall. I think I could do this. I've got a lot of Marines. Let's plan something here. Oh, there we go. There goes Italy, or rather, the puppet has formed. It's sadly gone to Britain rather than me, but that's fine. And I instantly capitulate Italy, and it all goes to the puppet, Regno del Sud. That is fantastic. Italy is out of the war. Okay, now we just got to move our armies up to like push into like Yugoslavia area and see if we can maybe take Germany from the south. Let's bring a whole nother army group over. We got to do this. Okay, we're smuggling armies onto the German border from the south here. There's no one here yet. Oh no, they're here. They're coming in pretty hot from Hungary and Germany as well, and they're starting to push me back. Okay, let's form some kind of line. But hey, at least the German Navy is basically dead. Oh yeah. Since there's no German Navy, I think we need to do a D-Day right now. We're going to put planes all over the sea zones and air zones, and also transport planes for supply. Okay, yes, this has gone okay. I have landed on one port in Belgium and another tile. The attack into Dunkirk is not going super well, but I can reinforce from here. Oh, I completely forgot about floating harbors. Ah, that's so lame. They'd have been really useful right now. Whatever, I'm just going to move over my infantry and tanks. We've smuggled everybody in, but Vichy has also just joined. We have to do our very best to push as quick as possible. I guess we're going to have to move some troops to actually defend the Vichy-Italian border as well. We've made a really nice foothold in Europe, but I'm now starting to struggle a little bit. I don't really have any pushing power. I do have tanks and they can do small bits, but there's just so much German infantry. I don't know what to do here. I think what I'm going to do is take off all of my coastal defenders that are on the east coast, turn them into regular infantry and move them to Europe and start using them as part of the pushing force, or at least the holding force. I don't think the Germans are going to have any chance to invade me anytime soon. Oh, hey, look, a reverse Dunkirk. Get wrecked, Germany. Oh, God. No. Germany has just completely annexed the Soviet Union. We weren't quick enough. This is so bad. Every single division and plane that was on the Eastern Front is going to pile onto me right now. I think I've just got to take every opportunity I can right now, do really tight pushes with tanks, and just take everything up to rivers, and then think about maybe invading Germany, because I think we need to end this soon. We're also getting pushed like crazy in Italy by the forces from Vichy and also in Germany. I think I need to completely fall back and see if I can hold behind that river that's on Milan. I don't know the name of it. Hopefully this little weird two-lined fallback system will work. I really do not want to have to give up all of my Italian gains. Main concern, however, is the sheer number of planes. There's no need to have the Luftwaffe over the Soviet Union anymore because they're dead. So they're just hitting me like crazy. I'm going to try and selectively blow up a few of their fighters, though, and, I don't know, do things tactically. This is scary. We also do finally have the advanced light tank chassis, and this is the Chaffee tank. That's fun to say. Surprisingly pretty good tank with a close support gun. Very heavy on soft attack. This actually didn't really see much service in real life until the later war period. They didn't see much reason to replace the M3 Stuarts, but I'm going to get to building these and use them when I can. Okay, selective pushes has worked. We have liberated Paris and taken back the Seine River. It's been hell though, because there's a lot of Germans piling in. Also, taking and liberating all the rest of France isn't actually going to help us. We might be able to encircle some French divisions, but really we just need to get to Germany. The longer we wait, the more divisions they pile out because they've got tons of bonuses because I was stupidly put them on very high buffs. I think we're going to have to do a little bit of cheese, and that means paratroopers. This is what we start with as a parachute division, which is very strange, and this, I think, based on my research, is what it should be. The little guide I found for the airborne division of around this time period actually does mention divisional artillery, which includes actual para-dropped artillery pieces, but the game will not allow me to add that because then it will no longer be a paratroop unit, so I'll have to just stick to support artillery. However, one thing I can add is para-dropped light tanks, which is a special support company that you get through the Special Forces Doctrine, and basically is like a really small light tank, usually a Tetrarch tank from the British Army, and put on these little glider planes that like swoop in, which I think is very cool. Also, one small note is that the parachute divisions actually had a lot of glider infantry, not just paratroop infantry, but there's no way to specify that in HOI, so this is what you get. Alright, I was planning on doing this with paratroops, but I was a little bit lucky. I planned a marine invasion in northwest Germany, and it just worked. They didn't really have much coastal defense. I've smuggled in about an army's worth of units, so I'm going to see if we can push out a little bit and get some tanks in here. Also, just realized that I'm still sending lend-lease to Churchill. No, dude, I'm sorry. I need it. Alright, I've managed to get pretty much all of my tanks in the European theater in this little pocket, and weirdly, Germany is just not pushing me. I'm not quite sure why. We are 12,000 infantry equipment in the hole at this point, and while we are doing pretty well when it comes to fighters, like we are shooting down more, they still have so many, so it really is kind of hard to maintain air superiority. Also, for those paratroop lovers, I now have the full doctrine tree for paratroopers, so I think I'm going to need to use them pretty heavily. I'm going to take 10 divisions, turn them into paratroops, and see if I can, I don't know, snipe some VPs or something. Come on, let's go. One thing I did not anticipate when playing the USA is running out of steel in the entire world. I have just nothing left. I built so many factories and dockyards right now that I am completely out of steel. I should probably consider moving off free trade. Okay, maybe it's not just me. Look at this. Germany, I think, is out of tanks. Their tank divisions have super low strength. This might be it. This might be the key to our victory. If their tanks cannot fight me, we win. Unfortunately, once again, the Pacific Theater has been completely ignored by me because I was paying too much attention to Germany. India has fallen. The entirety of the army that I put on the Chinese-Indian border has been completely encircled around Bhutan, and Japanese forces are rushing Delhi. I have completely abandoned my ally and ruined the world. The Dutch East Indies has completely fallen, and the Philippines is falling as well. I have done a very poor job at being the protector of the Pacific. Well, if I fail to help protect against Japan, I can at least crush Germany. I've got paratroop boys all ready to encircle Berlin, because I feel like the thing does exist still where you can surround the enemy's capital and then completely starve them of supply, right? Please tell me I'm right. Oh yes, look at that. Completely surrounded their capital, fought them off, and pushed out around Berlin. Also, we now have the advanced medium tank chassis, and looking at the presets it gives us the T20, which was actually a prototype medium tank that didn't actually end up being used, and the base design elements of it actually became the Pershing in the later bits of the war. This is really weird because in actuality what the Americans did is they sort of upgraded the Sherman as time went on and upgraded the gun. So a more accurate 1943 Sherman tank would be to replace the medium cannon with the improved medium cannon to represent the switch to the 76mm anti-tank cannon, which I think is a pretty historical thing to do, so I'm going to do that. I'm basically making the tank from Fury. Okay, surrounding Berlin just did not affect the enemy's supply. Maybe that's a fixed exploit now. Maybe they changed their supply capital really quickly. I don't know. But I've taken Berlin and just got rid of it. It's fine. And now we're just kind of gradually pushing out. And again, the enemy AI is just not really stopping me. They're not really being very aggressive. So I'm just smuggling as many troops as I can. I've shrunk the forces that I have in France and pulled back and let the Brits hold that and moved all my troops into the German front to try to, destroy Germany. I think the only thing I can do now is to use paratroop boys and try to take victory points as quickly as I can. So let's just do a big leap. Okay, I did it. I jumped. My boys are there, but I don't think it was enough. They had defenders. Too many of them died. I've been able to liberate a couple of them with some tank pushes, but I think it just has to be good old-fashioned tank pushes and infantry slow crawl. I have literally pushed all the way to Switzerland, and they are still not dying, please. Also, quick look at India. Let's not look at there anymore. Let's just pretend that doesn't exist. All right, I've done another stupid paratrop boys down to try to take Metz, but also Vienna, and just a bunch of other victory points and doing incredible pushes. Come on, please. Just give up. How could they possibly still be fighting when they've lost all of this land? But it's okay. One more bit. And then... Alright, Germany is dead. But unfortunately, as always seems to happen, Bulgaria has become a major. So I will paradrop into Albania. It's okay. We'll snake into Sofia. Pull even more units in. Losing a lot of American lives along the way. But I am just desperate to grind this through. And there it is. We did it. We defeated the Axis powers with a completely conquered Soviet Union as well. Now for a long peace deal. Alright, there it is. That took like 20 minutes to get through and let my CPU handle it, but I have puppeted Russia and all of Germany. Britain did a lot of liberations, but kept their puppeted Italy, and also did a lot of other stupid nonsense as well. Now it's just time to wreck Japan. You might be thinking, how are you going to do this, Aldra? They control pretty much the entirety of the Pacific, and you haven't done any work to contain them and failed utterly as the defender of the Pacific. But just you wait. You'll see. But first, though, look at the heavy tank we just got. It's the Pershing. This tank is so cool. It only really got rolled out in the later stages of 1945, but it's such a badass tank. It's sloped armor, the turret. It's just a great tank. And was frankly used more in the Korean War than World War II, but come on, it's so cool. It was meant to be the replacement for the Sherman, but never got a chance. It's awesome. Alright, but back to the Japan invasion plans. We're going to repair the fleets that I've moved over from the Atlantic, so they no longer have heavy fires. Apparently my carriers are just on fire. And sweeping over massive armies of infantry from Europe over to the Pacific. We're going to post them on every bit of naval base we can. There's a really tiny bit in like the Bering Sea or the Bering Straits here just by Kamchatka, because now Britain owns it for some reason. And we're also going to naval invade Attu Island, which we actually lost to Japan, with some of our Marines. And now that we've reclaimed that, we can then post more troops to invade into Japan itself. Why did Japan just ally with Spain? It's fine. I've kept some divisions nearby, and by that I mean they decided to accidentally reroute themselves through the Suez Canal, so they're nearby. So I'll put them onto the French border so that nationalist Spain doesn't just overrun all of Europe. I'm just gonna marine invade the very northern tips of the islands and basically just fight my way through. It's probably gonna be a little bit hellish, but it'll be fine. Also, it's 1944, I should update my infantry divisions. I found a very funky graphic for the average US infantry division, which lists it as having over 13,000 men, 1,400 vehicles, which is insane, and a surprisingly large 66 pieces of artillery. As well as that, it has 57 57mm anti-tank guns. So to be able to get those similar numbers in both manpower and equipment, I think this is what it has to be, a 9.2 with an anti-tank. This is this is very good against tanks, but also very expensive. The tank division design didn't really change much from 43 to 44, maybe a little bit more mediums than lights, but it stays pretty much the same. Alright, my boys have managed to do really well, and they're pushing into Hokkaido, and it's going great. I'm going to do another invasion down south into, like, Tokyo, and it's just going to be a mad rush, honestly. Oh, baby, we did it. We landed, not in Tokyo, but, you know, really close. We're just going to bring everyone we have over, build air bases, and just put every plane in the world, and there it is, the fall of Tokyo. I'm just snaking and destroying. Most of Japan's forces are on the China border or fighting in the Philippines, so it was actually all part of my plan. Also going to finally use the War Plan Orange, which gives me attack bonuses against Japan, something I really neglected to do against Germany towards the end. Forget about it. Super easy push, and there it is. Japan is donezo, and that's it. There's no one else to defeat. This also destroys Spain. And this is the peace deal. It's not that much. I mean, we did puppet the entirety of Japan and China, but all we really did is just turn those countries blue. I probably should have liberated them and made them like independent democracies. But you know what? I want real American power. We win. That was surprisingly hard. I did not expect that to be such a challenge with Germany and Japan max buffed. Italy didn't really put up much of a fight, but you know, what do you expect? But Germany defeating the Soviet Union before I could even consider joining or doing anything serious really threw me off. It was hard. So in answer to the question of whether or not I think American industrial power won the war, pretty much, yeah. Not on its own, but it did a pretty good job. Thank you so very much for watching. Do be sure to leave a like and a comment suggesting a new video idea or a challenge you'd like to see me execute down below. And don't forget you can support the channel by joining YouTube memberships or Patreon, as you prefer. Thank you so very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.